Now, this is one of the biggest clinchers in the Kolkata rape and murder case. India Today has accessed the first phone call made to Abhaya's parents by the RG Kar Hospital in the early hours of August 9th. The parents were told that their daughter died by suicide. Why did the hospital lie? Is there a cover-up? The parents fear that.
It's been 20 days since 31-year-old Abhaya was raped and murdered at Kolkata's RG Kar Hospital, sparking national anger over crimes against women. She had finished a 36-hour shift at the hospital, fallen asleep in the seminar room, where she was brutalized by Sanjay Roy, a Kolkata police civil volunteer, in the early hours of August the 9th. But her parents were initially told that she had died by suicide. India Today has now accessed 3 clinching phone calls that the administration of RG Kar Medical College made to Abhaya's parents on August the 9th. Phone calls that point to an alleged cover-up right at the start. The first phone call lasts 44 seconds.
ওর একটু শরীরটা খারাপ হয়েছে, আপনারা কি একটু আসতে পারবেন ইমিডিয়েট?
কেন, কি হচ্ছে? কি
ওর শরীরটা খারাপ, আমরা ভর্তি করাচ্ছি ওকে, আপনি কি ইমিডিয়েট একটু আসতে পারবেন?
কি হচ্ছে কি সেটা বলবেন তো?
সেটা তো ডাক্তাররা বলবে আপনারা এলে। আমরা আপনার নাম্বারটা জোগাড় করলাম, করে জানালাম যে বাড়ির লোক হিসেবে আপনারা একটু তাড়াতাড়ি আসুন।
কি হচ্ছে সেটা বলো না তুমি।
পেশেন্ট শরীরটা খারাপ, ভর্তি হয়েছে হসপিটালে, বাকিটা আপনারা এলে ডাক্তার বলবে।
ওর কি জ্বর হয়েছে?
আপনারা একটু আসুন, জলদি চলে আসুন, যত তাড়াতাড়ি পারবেন।
কেন, খুব অবস্থা খারাপ?
খুব অবস্থা খারাপ, হ্যাঁ খুব অবস্থা খারাপ, একটু তাড়াতাড়ি চলে আসুন।
The second call to Abhaya's parents lasted 47 seconds, where the RG Kar Hospital administrator told them that their daughter was being admitted to the emergency ward.
কি হয়েছে কি সেটা বলো না একটু।
ওনার অবস্থা খুবই খারাপ, আপনি যতটা তাড়াতাড়ি পারবেন চলে আসুন।
কি হয়েছে না সেটা বলো না।
সেটা তো ডাক্তার বলবে, আপনি একটু তাড়াতাড়ি চলে আসুন এখানে।
আপনি কে বলছেন বলুন তো?
আমি অ্যাসিস্ট্যান্ট সুপার বলছি, আমি ডাক্তার বলছি না।
ডাক্তার নেই হবে কেউ?
আমি সুপারিনটেন্ডেন্ট কথা বলছি। হ্যালো,
হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে।
হ্যাঁ আমি অ্যাসিস্ট্যান্ট সুপারিনটেন্ডেন্ট কথা বলছি। আপনার মেয়েকে আমরা এমার্জেন্সিতে নিয়ে এসেছি, আপনারা আসুন, এসে যোগাযোগ করুন।
The third and the final 8-second phone call from the assistant superintendent of the hospital informed the parents that their daughter had died by suicide.
উনি সুসাইড করেছেন হয়তো, বা কিছু মারা গেছেন। পুলিশ রয়েছেন, আমরা হসপিটালে সবার সামনেই রয়েছি, ফোন করছি।
Abhaya's parents have been pointing fingers at former principal of RG Kar Hospital, Dr. Sandeep Ghosh, accusing him and the medical college of a cover-up.
तो उसने हमने से बात भी नहीं किया। सारे दिन हम उधर 12 बजे से शाम 7 बजे तक था। उस टाइम में हम
The parents alleged that they were made to wait for 3 hours before they got to see the body of their daughter.
সবার প্রথম তো পুলিশের শরণাপন্ন হব। আমরা সেরকমই পুলিশের কাছেই সমস্ত আমাদের যা বক্তব্য বলছিলাম, কিন্তু পুলিশ আমাদের 3 ঘন্টা ধরে ঢুকতে দেয়নি। কেন, কি ব্যাপার সেটা ইয়া।
They've also claimed that their daughter's final rites were rushed.
जो क्रिमिनेशन घाट का बारे में बोलता है, श्मशान घाट के बारे में, उधर 3 बॉडी पड़ा हुआ था, लेकिन उसका पहले ही हमारा लड़की का बॉडी जला दिया गया।
The 3 calls now prove that the RG Kar Medical College did peddle the suicide theory lie. The question is, why? With Anupam Mishra in Kolkata, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, joining me for more is my colleague Indrajit Kundu, joining us live from Kolkata for more on this story. Indrajit, the phone call clearly exposes that it was the superintendent of the hospital who called the parents and clearly told them that this could have been a probable suicide. Has any action been taken by the hospital on that account?
Well, Preeti, no, we haven't seen any action from the health department or the hospital regarding this case. But, this does corroborate what the parents were saying all through, that initially they were, when they were called from the hospital authorities, they were informed that their daughter was unwell. Then they were told that the daughter had died by suicide. Now, there is also a theory that's doing the round, actually, is that because this was a distress call, would the doctors or whoever had called up the family, would they have told them, or was it appropriate for them to say what exactly the condition was? Because what we do hear in the phone call was that several times, the person from the other side, the hospital authorities, they were telling the parents that their daughter was unwell and therefore they should rush, and that it was an emergency. Only when the parents kept saying, if they could elaborate what had happened, that somebody who identified herself as the assistant superintendent in an exasperated situation said that they had information that she had died by suicide and that she had been taken to the emergency. So while it does corroborate with the fact, that has been narrated by the parents all through, and they have reasons to be aggrieved because at that point in time they wanted to know in no uncertain terms what had exactly happened. But on the other side, there are also questions from the administration as to whether they were in a position to share that exact information with the family members.
Indra, one quick question before I let you go, and that stems from the fact that till now, the parents have always said that ultimately they had faith in the state government and Mamata Banerjee. That faith now seems to be shifting.
True. 3 weeks down the line, the parents, it clearly shows that there has been a change of heart. Initially, they had faith in the Chief Minister, even though they have been continuously questioning the Kolkata police probe. The parents moved the High Court. The High Court has transferred the case to the CBI. Even the CBI has not been able to crack the case till now. We've been speaking to the protesting doctors yesterday. Even they were saying that, we are losing patience, but we will continue with our fight. In that scenario, the hapless parents, of course, they are in emotional turmoil. And in that respect, of course, they are speaking out against the state government. And they have said that, there are a lot of unanswered questions. And of course, they're blaming it to the state government, the state administration, and the Kolkata police for all of it.
Thank you, Indra, for joining us. We're going to come back to you for more updates. At least there is now clarity that it was the assistant superintendent of the hospital who made that call and said what she did. You could hear that. And the second part, till now you've had the parents who've, by the end of it, questioned the Kolkata police, but always said that they had faith in Mamata Banerjee and the Kolkata government. That faith now seemingly shaking. Let's get you more on the story now in terms of the entire politics that's speaking on the sidelines. The Abhaya rape case has now put the Mamata Banerjee government on the back foot. The Bengal chief minister triggered a row yesterday when she implied that if Bengal burns, then other states will burn too.
The political face-off over the RG Kaur hospital rape and murder horror escalates. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, in her biggest attack on the BJP, has warned that if Bengal burns, it will spread to other states.
Modi Babu, আপনার পার্টিকে দিয়ে আগুন লাগাচ্ছেন, মনে রাখবেন বাংলায় যদি আগুন লাগান আসামও থেমে থাকবে না, নর্থ ইস্টও থেমে থাকবে না, উত্তরপ্রদেশও থেমে থাকবে না, বিহারও থেমে থাকবে না, ঝাড়খণ্ড থেমে থাকবে না, উড়িষ্যাও থেমে থাকবে না, আর দিল্লিও থেমে থাকবে না। আপনার চেয়ারটা আমরা টলমল করে দেব।
Mamata's statement made on Wednesday provoked angry reactions from BJP chief ministers, including Himanta Biswa Sarma of Assam, N. Biren Singh of Manipur, and Mohan Majhi of Odisha, who accused her of sowing seeds of hatred across the country. The BJP, seizing the moment, sharpened its attacks.
मैं मोदी जी को गिरा सकती हूं, इतना ताकतवर लीडर बंगाल का है, वो सब बोल सकती है। She is now very scared due to massive mass movement against this misrule.
बंगाल में कोई कानून नहीं रह गया है। सरकार में बैठे हुए लोग वहां आतंक मचाए हुए हैं। लोगों को प्रताड़ित कर रहे हैं, हत्या कर रहे हैं, लूट कर रहे हैं, वहाँ सरकार नहीं चल रही है, वहाँ तो सरकार के नाम पर गुंडागर्दी चल रही है। तो ऐसे सरकार पर तो तुरंत कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए।
The BJP's ally, the JDU in Bihar, has denounced Mamata's statement.
जो अफसोसजनक है, निंदनात्मक है और स्वतंत्र भारत में कभी ऐसे अवसर देखने को नहीं मिले जब किसी प्रदेश का चुना हुआ मुख्यमंत्री अन्य राज्यों के अंदर भी दखल दे करके विद्रोह जैसी स्थिति पैदा करने की धमकी दे रहा।
The Congress, a national ally of the Trinamool, took a more cautious approach.
Calcutta doctors rape has only made this issue a bigger issue now, and now everybody is turning towards it, and we are now need to concentrate on the real issue. We should be careful that we should not be dragged into the diversion politics of BJP. We should concentrate on the women's security and our daughters' security.
Mamata Banerjee on Thursday toned down her position. In a post on social media, the Chief Minister alleged the BJP, with the support of the Government of India, is threatening democracy in her state and trying to create anarchy. Mamata clarified that she never threatened protesting doctors. With Ritik Mondal in Kolkata, Bureau Report, India Today.
Meanwhile, while anger is spilling across the country demanding justice for Abhaya, the former Punjab MP and pro-Khalistan Neta Simranjeet Mann stirred a big row with his shocking rape remarks against BJP MP Kangana Ranaut. This followed what Kangana Ranaut had claimed, that there were rapes and murders that took place during the farm protest. Now, in this case, Simranjeet Mann claiming the actor Neta would know what rape is as she's experienced to it, a deeply misogynistic statement. The MP hit back at Simranjeet Mann's outrageous remarks, saying rape has been trivialized time in and time again and that Neta's patriarchal mindset is exposed. Kankana also maintains her voice against crime on women will not be suppressed. But viewers, the deeply patriarchal comment, misogynistic to the core, of Simranjeet Singh Mann coming in at the back of Kangana Ranaut, spreading misinformation when she said that there were rapes that took place during the farm protest and dead bodies were hanging. Here's more.
मैं कहना तो नहीं चाहता, रेनॉल्ड साहब को रेप का तो बहुत तजर्बा है, उनसे आगे पूछ सकते हैं कि कैसे होता है रेप, तो लोगों को समझाया जाए कि रेप कैसे होता है।
उनको कैसे तजर्बा है?
तजर्बा जैसे होता है, आप अगर साइकिल चलाते हैं तो साइकिल चलाने का तजर्बा नहीं होता, तो उनको रेप का तजर्बा है।
कंगना रनावत की बात कर रहे हैं?
हाँ जी, कंगना रनावत।
अगर इस तरह से आर्टिस्ट की जो है वो आवाज़ को दबाया जाएगा और एक फिल्म को, मेरी क्रिएटिव लिबर्टी को, क्योंकि कुछ लोगों ने बंदूकें तान दी हैं, हमारे माथे पे रख दी है, तो बंदूकों से तो हम डरने वाले हैं नहीं। और आज मुझे रेप थ्रेट्स भी आ रहे हैं कि कंगना को पता है कि रेप क्या होता है, तो वो मुझे एक तरह से रेप की भी धमकियां दे रहे हैं, तो इस तरह से वो मेरी आवाज़ नहीं दबा सकते हैं।
All right, moving on. The Hema Committee report has opened up a Pandora's box. More women are now coming forward with sexual assault complaints against several male actors, including prominent figures in the Malayalam film industry. Following the release of the report, the latest complaint was filed by another Mollywood actor who spoke out about the time she was harassed. Meanwhile, an FIR has now been registered against CPM MLA and actor Mukesh for sexual and verbal assault.
Mollywood sex abuse gets bigger. Another actress exposes misconduct in the Malayalam film industry. Speaking exclusively with India Today, the survivor recounted the horror she faced in 2013. Without naming anyone, the actress alleged that the accused hugged her from behind without her consent. She has now filed a complaint against the assaulter with the SIT.
I filed a case against the accused person, and I give the full name and exact details and how happened. That time I am newcomer in movie industry. I don't know the exact what is happening going on. I am going alone in a shoot for a superstar movie in Thodupuzha. Now first day, and after makeup and costume change, I will go to restroom and coming back, and after that suddenly he unexpectedly, he, without my permission or consent, he hold me and tightly.
Meanwhile, cases have been filed against 7 individuals, including CPM MLA and actor Mukesh and superstar Jay Surya, based on a complaint by a survivor under Section 354 of the BNS, which deals with intent to outrage modesty of a woman.
ഇപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾ പറയുന്നുണ്ട് ഇങ്ങനൊരു പ്രശ്നം ഉണ്ടായതിനു ശേഷം മലയാള ഫിലിം ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി തന്നെ വിട്ടു പോകേണ്ട ഒരു അവസ്ഥ.
തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും. ഇപ്പോൾ അമ്മയിൽ എനിക്ക് മെമ്പർഷിപ്പ് ഞാൻ ചോദിച്ചു. അപ്പോൾ അവർക്ക് അത്രയും പേർക്ക് ഞാൻ ബെഡ് ഷെയർ ചെയ്താലേ എനിക്ക് അമ്മ മെമ്പർഷിപ്പ് എനിക്ക് തരുള്ളൂ എന്ന് അവർ പറഞ്ഞു. അങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞത് മുകേഷ്. അതെ അതെ. പലരും എനിക്ക് പല സന്ദർഭങ്ങളിലാണ് എനിക്ക് ഈ പ്രശ്നം ഉണ്ടായത്. ഒറ്റയടിക്കല്ല.
Union Minister Suresh Gopi, himself a superstar in the Malayalam film industry, with backed actor Mukesh, has filed a police complaint against media personnel. They were asking him about Kerala BJP's criticism of his stance on the allegations against the actor.
Please.
Actor turned politician Khushbu Sundar wrote a long note on social media commending the women who have stood their ground against exploitation in the industry.
You know, it happens in every industry. We need a Hema committee report or this kind of a commission in every department wherever a woman works. Cinema industry is a very small industry. You have these kind of incidents happening. And that's why I say women need to speak up. If anybody is giving you an indecent proposal, a woman has to stand up for herself.
Popular actor in Tamil film industry Vishal says Tamil Nadu Actors Association has formed a committee to ensure that any female actor who wants to file a complaint has a redressal mechanism.
Nadiga Sangam is taken a decision to form a committee and make sure that if any woman who wants to give a complaint against something, to come to an address, they need an address. You know, the committee will look into all issues of the women in the film industry.
Another complaint has been filed against Malayalam filmmaker Ranjit. The complaint was sent to Kerala DGP via email. The complainant claimed that she was sexually harassed by director Ranjit in the garb of offering roles in movies. With Shibi Mol KG in Thiruvananthapuram, Bureau Report, India Today.
Malayalam film industry facing its Me Too moment. I want to immediately cut across to my colleague Shibi Mol, who's joining us. Shibi, you know, for the first time, we've seen tangible impact of Me Too claims, especially at the back of the Hema committee report, and FIR now being registered against the CPM MLA and actor Mukesh.
Well, exactly. In fact, so far the government has been trying to justify, saying that, we have formed a committee for the first time. A government in the country is doing something like this. So we stand for the women. But from today onwards, they have been under real huge pressure, considering that the sitting MLA, an FIR has been registered under non-bailable offence against the sitting MLA. He was not just the sitting MLA, he's been a 2-time CPM MLA and also the Lok Sabha candidate in the recently concluded Lok Sabha election. So for the party and for the state government here, they're going through one of the most toughest phases with somebody prominent, like a prominent party leader as well as an actor like Mukesh is facing such a major allegation, as well as facing court facing a investigation of this sort. But yes, today there have been around 7 complaints registered, 7 FIRs registered against various actors like Mukesh, Jay Surya, prominent faces in the industry. We are hearing that all these actors against whom non-bailable offence have been charged, they're planning to approach the High Court, approach the court with anticipatory bail petition, because that's the only way out. Because and also in the coming days also, we are hearing that more and more people are going to come out, because the victims whoever we spoke to said that now there's a sense of confidence that we can come out and express more about what we went through. The SIT has been very cooperative. That's exactly what we were looking or what we lacked in the past. So right now it's more of a comfortable situation where we feel that there is support for everyone, the victims here, the survivors here, and that's exactly what we're going to do. It's a very tough phase for the industry also, because it's already facing a financial crisis because of the theatre response, the lack of theatre response and all of that. So on top of that, an industry going through a situation like this with many questions raised to their top stars, especially the silence of the two superstars in the industry, Mammootty and Mohanlal, silence being questioned. We're seeing a lot of outrage on social media also from various corners, from the movie, movie followers also saying that this is not what we expect out of a state and out of an industry like this, which is very political, which has always come forward and showed their, showed their political stance at many times. So, very tough phase for the industry as well as for the state government, even though they say that they've formed an SIT and many other things have been done. This one case of Mukesh is a very, very major task for the government and the party CPIM to solve in the coming days.
All right, Shabir, we're going to come back to you for more updates on that story. Meanwhile, just over 3 months after the Pune Porsche crash, the 17-year-old accused, now out on bail, has requested the return of his luxury car and passport, both seized during investigation. All of this in midst of a backdrop of allegations of VIP influence and legal manipulation, raise serious questions on accountability and justice for the two victims, Ashwini and Anish.
102 days ago, these two young engineers died a terrible death on Pune's roads. Ashwini and Anish, fatally mowed down by a speeding Porsche, driven by the drunk, underage son of a real estate tycoon. And now, just over 3 months later, with justice still far from being served, a shocking act of VIP arrogance. The 17-year-old accused, living a free life after being granted bail, has now approached the Juvenile Justice Board asking for the return of his Porsche car and passport, both seized in May as part of an ongoing police investigation. India Today has learnt that the teenager's defense lawyer Prashant Patil had submitted an application requesting the return of the passport and vehicle. Shockingly, the teenager's legal team has argued that since the boy is on bail and since he has written the famous 300-word essay he was asked to write to secure initial bail, and since he has completed a court-ordered road safety course, hence the luxury car worth 2.5 crore rupees currently held by the police should be returned to him along with his passport. A decision on the matter was initially scheduled for this week, but due to an adjournment, the Juvenile Justice Board is now expected to issue a verdict on September the 26th. 2 months ago, after spending just a few weeks in a juvenile observation home, the Delhi High Court granted the teenager bail, shockingly noting the teenager's personal trauma in the incident. The case, brought under the national spotlight by India Today's coverage, has been an uninterrupted list of VIP actions, entitlements and manipulations of the law. From bribery to MLA muscle power to criminal switching of blood samples to the dadagiri of a powerful family. The application for the return of the teenager's Porsche and passport is only the latest slap in the face of the quest for justice. With Omkar Wable in Pune, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, and an interesting video came about today. The Congress, with this video, wished National Sports Day. A video of Rahul Gandhi's Jitsu training, naming it the Bharat Dojo Yatra. Congress says during the Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra, practicing Jitsu became a part of our daily routine in the camp. Well, this is what Rahul Gandhi posted.